GAGA. We have Charlie with us today, founder of Arena, and we're going to be learning a little bit about Web3 gaming, everyone's favorite topic here at VEMP. There we go. How are you?
I'm good. How are you doing? I got a little hype from that intro. That was awesome.
Thanks. They do good work, the team. We definitely, but I always get put off by the fact that the countdown doesn't actually count down to the beginning.
There's like a little extra bit at the start.
Yeah, it's 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, and then it starts the actual intro. So the first time I heard it, I always end up unmuting and talking to a blank screen for everyone. But yeah, welcome, and yeah, thanks for coming on. It'd be great to get overview for those who aren't familiar, and yeah, a bit of background to yourself.
Yeah, absolutely. So my name's Charlie. I'm one of the co-founders of Arena. And just some background on who I am. I'm from Colorado. I grew up in the mountains in Colorado. Grew up playing a lot of basketball, soccer, snowboarding, obviously. Just being up there in the Vail, kind of near some of the really nice ski resorts in Colorado. So I grew up playing sports, but also grew up playing a lot of video games, and that's what started us down the road to Arena. And then, but I grew up in Colorado, went to school at University of Colorado Boulder. And then while I was there, I did finance and accounting. And then I did that for a couple years after school, but really wanted to be in software, really wanted to build video games at some point. And so I went back to code school in 2015 to do software development. And when I was there, I ended up being in school with a bunch of Bitcoin junkies at the time who loved Bitcoin, and this was in like 2015. And so I ended up learning a lot about crypto in 2015. And then while we were in code school, Ethereum started becoming the new thing. And I remember we went to an Ethereum meetup, and the guy was talking about all these tools, and I feel like I didn't really get it, but it sounded incredible. And then me and my roommate went home, and we just started playing with all the tools, and we ended up building like a Pokemon trading card marketplace on Solidity. And this was like early 2016. I just was like in love with Ethereum ever since then. And so after code school, I went and worked at a small indie game studio in Boulder, Colorado. But while I was there, just kind of felt the tug of crypto. I felt the tug of blockchain technology. And I think that change it was just going to bring to the world at large. And so I ended up leaving the video game studio and went to go work at Shapeshift, which was a cryptocurrency exchange in Colorado with Eric Voorhees. And so I was doing that, and I worked on some products there. I worked on CoinCap, which was like a CoinMarketCap competitor. And then I was a lead engineer when we did a rewrite or like a rebrand to like a mobile app. And now they're kind of going full DAO, decentralized application. So, but while I was there, me and my brother, Bobby, who's the other co-founder of Arena, really just felt like there's going to be a ton of opportunity with Web3 and gaming. Just felt like there was so many great synergies with like smart contracts and Ethereum. And then, that was just, a few years ago. Now there's all these other chains that bring all this other amazing technology to the gaming space. So we were really excited by just the potential there. And so we spent a lot of nights and weekends brainstorming on like, what could we be building? What's going to be a really valuable thing in this space. And then we eventually got to Arena. So Arena is a community gaming platform that really focuses on building tools and infrastructure and kind of data analytics for community building for gamers. And how that all got started was the very first iteration of Arena was actually like a skills-based wagering platform. And that's when we started doing stuff with I was really big into like PUBG and the battle royales. And I was like, man, it'd be great if I could wager some money on this, and that if I win, I could earn something, just because the economies of scales of battle royales felt pretty compelling. And so we ended up building Arena to be this thing where gamers could go put a bunch of money into a smart contract. They'd go play a PUBG specifically, and then whoever won that would win the payout. And you could just manage it all through smart contracts, really bringing trust to that system of wagering in games online. And when we started to do the first events and finding communities to use Arena, then we really just felt like we needed players to use the platform. So when we started targeting communities, we just realized the tooling for running and engaging with communities was pretty lackluster. And we started working with content creators and Twitch streamers, and they were trying to just do simple things. Like I want to run a bracket for my Twitch subscribers. And that was really challenging. They'd use like Google Sheets to like get all the signups, and they'd have like an admin go like double check everybody and make sure they're a Twitch subscriber. Then they go use a different tool to like run the bracket. And it all just felt kind of crazy to us and felt like there's a ton of opportunity just to make engaging with the community is a lot better. And then if you can add like the Web3 payment rails and like the community that gets built from tokenization, it just felt like there was so much opportunity to like just make that system a lot better. And so Arena today is much more focused on building tools for communities and content creators to better engage with their audiences, and then also help giving tools to game studios and publishers and advertisers to connect with communities more effectively and to have more meaningful engagement with those players and those communities.
I always say that it's great being in an industry that is new, because you can be like back in the day of like Neanderthals. You could invent everything because it's like all brand new, like as in the wheel, fire, like easy, so easy to be. I think I've said before, like I love crypto because the mediocrity of our industry in a lot of things means that it's very easy to be half smart and excel. Not calling you half smart.
Yeah, there's a lot of greenfield opportunities, and the bar is pretty low, quite frankly. But yeah, I totally agree with that.
Yeah, it's my common complaint, but it works to the benefit because well, you do still have to fight to stand out. Unfortunately, like since the audience is very easily. We're all a bit crazy in crypto, so we're all a little bit ADHD, and our attention spans are here, there, and everywhere. So in order to actually target, find the community, engage with the community, keep the community, it is quite the task, especially trying to find who your consumer and customer and user actually is. So it's great to hear that you've been in it for a while. 2015. What's that? There's a ski resort I know so well. Oh, Whistler. That's was that your old?
Whistler's, I believe, in Vancouver. I think it's just north of us.
I thought you had one beginning with a W that was near Boulder, Colorado.
Oh, that's why am I blanking on the name? That's
exactly what I did. I thought it was Whistler.
Well, it'll come to me. I'll think of it.
Yeah, beginning with a W. That's all I remember. But too many out there. I mean, was there a conscious, because going from a sort of a centralized exchange or an exchange anyway that you mentioned with Eric Voorhees, apart from sort of your background as a coder, what was it that really made you think that this is the area that needs the most development? Or, firstly, why did you go into that area? Was it because you thought it needed the most development, or was it just what you're familiar with?
Yeah, I think it's a little bit of a combo of both. It was more just scratching an itch of something that I thought was exciting. Like I just, the smart contracts and Ethereum, it just felt like a lot of those layers were kind of being replicated with like central custodians in Web 2. Like, the PUBG example, there were other people trying to do similar things with like Fortnite, and they'll do it in Minecraft mods and stuff like that, where they'll do, pay me $20 a month, and then everybody will throw money to this guy, and then he'll run tournaments and automatically pay it out. And, the payouts are end up a lot smaller because there's a lot of humans having to do stuff. You still have to go trust like a third-party custodian at some point with money. You have to trust that it's not a Ponzi scheme. You have to. There's a lot of trust you have to put in a system that isn't built on software and isn't built on like a visual or public code or public blockchain. So there's a lot of this stuff to me that I saw on Web 2 that I was like, this is a great way for this is just a great use case for smart contracts in general. We're basically just taking Web 2 and elevating it and showing like the power of these like automatically executed programs, cryptocurrency in general, this transfer of money and just the payment rails of it. A lot of it was me just feeling like there was a opportunity just to make Web 2 better for these Web 2 use cases that were already exciting. And And so like a lot of it was that, and then a lot of it was like I just like always wanted to be in gaming, and so I felt like I felt like there was like part of me that's like I feel like we can make this better, but then also the more time I spent working on this, was like the better my chances were just to be a full time in the gaming industry, which was also a lot of my passion. Was like I wanted to work with gamers, I wanted to work with content creators, I wanted to like help make their lives better, and a lot of like what we do at Arena right now is we have a big partner program and network of content creators from around the world. And a lot of what we build are just features we're hearing from them is like they really want to have a more meaningful engagement or more data and insights into who the most valuable members of their community are. And so that's a lot of what we're doing right now is just trying to hear the feedback and the pain points of what a lot of people are going through, because it definitely transcends both Web 2 and Web 3 as far as community management, keeping people engaged, finding out if they're a person or not. Like bots are just so prevalent, and just like a lot of times bots are the ones getting rewards and heavily rewarded in these communities because they don't know how better to incentivize people. So it's that's a lot of like kind of how we ended up getting here.
Fair enough. I can't remember what was good. So somebody asked in the audience, I don't know what they mean, but maybe you do. Do you know the level 1 ski guys in Colorado?
I don't think I know who that is. No.
Yeah, I was wondering, is that a group of ski people, or is that is that just how Harvey is defining top tier ski people?
I would imagine that's a ski group. There's a lot of them here.
Oh, fair enough. And what chain are you guys on?
We're on EVM and or we're on Ethereum mainnet and Polygon. But a lot of what we're going to be doing is we're working with a lot of game studios to help launch their game and grow their communities. So the vision is to be cross chain. But if our NFT for NFT holders was launched on mainnet, but we're doing a lot of items in kind of marketplace stuff, which is we feel very much like a Discord Nitro on our platform for premium services or elevated services. You can basically buy these items on our site, and those are all on Polygon.
Okay, fair. Because I was speaking to somebody about in the future, when everyone is, actively and, hopefully when all games and all, game assets become NFTs, on-chain, fungible, etc. Whether there'll be a problem, I'd like your thoughts on this. Of like how you have front-run bots on like transactions, on like buying tokens, selling tokens. Whether there is the same potential problems that could become in-game. And basically, I can't remember the specific examples that we were talking about. But there's one where, for example, if you're in a luck-based game, for example, and let's say it's a roulette table, and someone's able to like front run before like no more bets, and sort of like get in before you, if that was the example, let's say. Have you thought about that at all, or what is your thoughts regarding that?
Just like, is it more about like the fairness of games and like that kind of concept?
Yeah, I guess, and also the how on-chain competition on-chain could be exploited or influenced by the fact that we are interacting much more with smart contracts.
Yeah. So that's a super good question, because it is like it's so much for that. It's a thing that I hear a lot from like new game studios or new game publishers that like want to use Web3, like betting mechanics and some of these things. You get into some like really weird situations with like most blockchains have blocks and confirmations and time, basically like these time intervals, and a lot can happen in those time intervals, and that doesn't always match up to like how you want a game to evolve and like game payouts and game settlements to occur. So we've been talking to a lot of really interesting companies lately that are doing, I think a lot better job on doing like cheat tracking and like replayability. So they're doing a lot of really cool tech behind the scenes to basically try and prevent cheating and verify the authenticity of results. And it's hard to ever overcome the there being no cheaters. I think there'll always be cheating in video games because people find more and more creative ways to do it. But something that when we were first building Arena, we were like, okay, we could automatically do all these payouts and all this stuff. And then we realized quickly situations like what you were saying is we kind of didn't want the automatic payouts immediately. Like we did want some sort of verification system because the front running, the cheating, and all that stuff is just so prevalent that like you really do need more. I think at least currently how everything currently is, you do kind of want more manual and human verification. So that's a kind of a great thing about communities too. And when we start focusing more on like community gaming and community tournaments as opposed to just strangers playing against each other, communities are super good at self-moderating. They're super good at having people that will like watch the videos and they'll like go through the footage or the games and those types of things to like verify the results of like wagered competitions. But if you were going to build like a skills-based wagering platform again today, you would kind of have to build a lot of games from the ground up with those things that you're talking about in mind, which is like this needs to be built to work so that you can't front run results. You have to like be able to verify or like replay the outcomes of what just happened to make sure there was no cheating. So it's hard to build a game and then add wagering on top of it without a lot of manual verification. And that's kind of where we're at today. But I think a lot of games in the future are going to start to be built with these tools from the companies that we're seeing. And like I was talking about GDC that have a lot of this stuff built in at the base layer. So you're building a game on top of very sturdy blocks that have a lot of anti-cheat all the way from the beginning. So
I wonder if there's, because the example that I just thought in my head was like how let's say that you're in GTA or one of these other games where you like pick up a new gun by like running over it, in like a bubble, let's say, but you're in a level against a boss, right? And so you run over and you've got to wait for the blockchain to connect and notice you've run over that NFT and mint it to your wallet.
Yeah.
And if gas is high, you're running around, you've lost all your ammo against this boss, and you're just waiting for gas to drop enough so that your automatic transaction goes through.
Yeah.
So I guess these are all the individual elements. So you'd be screwed on Solana. Some of my team are Solana maxis for some strange reason. So if they're watching, they won't be happy. But yeah, I guess all of these are going to become with testing and with
I mean, I think it's important to note that like how early this stuff is, and like you were talking about earlier, like everything's very greenfield and everything's like very. I think I'm almost impressed that things work as well as they do still. Like this is like such crazy technology that is still just like very much in its infancy. Like these blockchains are meant to really just be here for forever, and we're on like the first 10 or even like 5 years of these things, and you know some of the newest chains are only a couple years old. So I think the technology is incredible, and I think it's the games. I think a lot of the games that are being built on top of them are going to have a lot of these early problems like you're talking about, but I think a lot of chains will get faster, data will get faster. I think there's going to be a lot of really cool techniques for like, you know, we're potentially in a game, and like a lot of things are more cross-chain than you would think they are now. So you can be running up and picking up items that are going to your Avalanche wallet and then your Polygon wallet, and that's all happening within one game. It's all instant. So yeah, I think we're all suffering this kind of intermediate pain because we all believe in this future of like, you know, digital asset ownership and the value of crypto and things that I'm a huge believer in. And why I'm so passionate about gaming is because I do think gaming is going to be the catalyst that onboards so many more people to crypto. And I think the mission of crypto is just such an altruistic, like valuable thing, and something that I loved working at Shapeshift with. And I loved talking with Eric. I talked to Eric endless hours about this. I think someone commented earlier on YouTube that Eric is a poet, and that's exactly what he is. He's a fascinating person to listen to, and he just makes you fall in love with Bitcoin. Eric is a crypto poet. Yeah. He makes you fall in love with Bitcoin. He makes you fall in love with like just why crypto should exist in the first place and what's the value of blockchain technology in general. And so I basically fell in love with Ethereum because of the applications, and I fell in love with Bitcoin in the you know monetary aspect while working at Shapeshift. And then gaming just feels like this perfect catalyst for onboarding, the next billion, as everybody likes to say. And I do believe that's going to happen because we're going to be able to build these really engaging games and really build these really amazing communities around it. And then people will really start to see the value through kind of these indirect use cases of, I have all these game assets, or I have all this ownership of things. This is such a powerful thing, and I want this to exist everywhere in my life.
Fingers crossed. Yeah, I tell you what, for some reason, I know Eric's name so well, but I'm trying to picture him in my brain. And I've got someone. Did he have laser eyes at one point? He definitely did, didn't he?
Yeah, he had laser eyes.
He was probably the OG laser eyes.
I think he still might. I think he's...
Fair enough. He hasn't just slowly taken them off like Tom.
Yeah, like the rest of us. I think it's laser eyes to 100K or something. I think he was going to go for it. So
fair enough. Well, he's got to. Otherwise, everyone's going to think he's given up. What's the short-term and sort of long-term ambitions and roadmap of the protocol?
Yeah. So some of the short-term ambitions right now is really onboarding game studios and game publishers to Arena. Obviously, we have a lot of short-term objectives from building the product and building the software. Like a lot of what we're doing is we're adding like some new. We basically had a lot of features that we built that we were kind of using in-house for us. So like we have a lot of questing on our platform. We have a lot of like bounties and things like that, and they were mostly just things that we use to help community get engaged and help our community stay engaged. But that's something that we are opening up now to all what we used to call them guilds, but we now call them bases on our platform. So bases on Arena will now be able to create their own quests. They'll be able to create their own tournaments, brackets, and bounties. And so that's stuff that I'm really excited about in the short term, is really to start seeing what happens when we open this up, and like giving people and creators the tools to create their own engagement. And I think there's a company out called Crew 3, and I think they just rebranded, but we're very much like a Crew 3 for gaming. And I'm really excited to see when you add very specific game elements to communities, like a quest to go complete 30 minutes of this game, or a bounty for communities, go play 40 hours of GTA this week to unlock this bounty for your group. So we're really excited by the kind of the team aspect of gaming and growth on our platform. So a lot of these tools that we're building is to give communities better ways to engage with each other, and then also give community runners and community owners better data and insights into the community itself, like who's playing, what games are they playing, what are we all doing together, and so just give a better feedback loop of what's going on. So that's some of the short-term goals, just to keep building. Long-term goals is really just to build a platform that people love, and build a platform that people found to be super valuable for community building and super valuable for engaging with their community. And so I think, the problem I feel like a lot right now is we really are focused on like kind of like just building the biggest numbers as we can and using that as like our community base, as opposed to like building the base community and then using that for engagement. Like I think we're really focused on Web2's really made it just the biggest numbers win all the time. And so we're so focused on this like it almost feels like this like weird pull whenever you start like growing anything. You just want the biggest number possible, and like that ends up being almost a detriment to like what it means to feel like to be in a community. And like sometimes it feels like we're so focused on getting the biggest number that we actually let the community just almost like crumble at the base. And so it doesn't really feel like you're a part of a community. You just feel like you're part of something big. And so a lot of the tools that we're building is just to give better insight into who's doing what, and then to reward people that are the most valuable. So and also to de-incentivize being big for the sake of being big. We're really trying to de-incentivize large numbers for the sake of large numbers, but actually incentivize growing a community that's excited to be together, that's actually engaged and involved, and not just people that are there just clicked follow or joined your server and then hit mute and they never come back to your Discord ever again. That's not really a valued add to anybody, and it's not really a value add as a consumer either. I feel like we really want to make people start picking and choosing where they're going to spend their time, and so that's like a long-term goal I have for Arena, is to really kind of change how we think about what a community means and is, and like get something that people are really excited to be a part of, and a lot of that's by just making people choose where they're going to spend their time and where they're going to dedicate their focus. So
fair enough. And what would the community be saying that they're most excited about in terms of short-term roadmap?
The questing and bounties are the things that people are most excited about. So quests are very much like, as a community owner, I can, or content creator especially, I can create quests that can be basically anything from, follow my Twitter, or let's go play this game together, or these things that just keep your friends and and everybody engaged to go do things as a group. But then bounties are we're really excited for, and something that I know a lot of the game studios we're talking about with are really excited about, which is there's so many great games coming out, and they're coming out at like a faster and faster iteration. Now there's like Fortnite Studio and all that. There's just gonna be amazing games that are gonna come out so fast. And so the games that are launching have this incredible desire to target gamers and target the gamers that make the most sense for their game. And there's not a ton of great tools. You can use like Google AdWords. You can use like Twitch bounties where someone will just stream your game for a little bit. But we are setting up a bounty system where, as a game studio, you can say, I want gamers who play RPGs and play, this type of game that matches up with me to go play my game for an hour. And they'll earn this NFT or these amount of tokens if they go play it. And then we will match them up with the gamers in our communities that match those criteria. And then also we give communities on Arena scores. And so the higher score, you might have to have a minimum score of a community to qualify for these bounties. So we're really just trying to target people that are active and are engaged, as opposed to, this guy has a lot of viewers on Twitter, but what does that really mean? Are they just followers? Are they actually going to go play the game? Do they actually care that he plays this game? And we have a little bit different approach where, since we incentivize people who are actually doing things, that's what game studios are really excited about, is we actually have a lot of confidence that when we say this, we give this bounty to this community to go play your game, that a lot of them are going to go do it.
How do you get over that crossover between automating as much as possible, whilst also, like you mentioned, making sure that the tasks are, qualitative and not just tick box exercises where you can, pay out, and where people do tend to look for abuse, where something can be fully automated, is always, there's always a way, almost always a way to usually try and game that system. So how do you go about distinguishing that, or where's the human element, I guess?
Yeah. So a lot of ways we do the initial hurt, we do add intentionally some initial friction to our platform to try and make it to try and really just verify that people are real people on our platform. They're not just bots. So we do have some initial hurdles, just try and limit the amount of fake or spam accounts on Arena. So we do things there, but a lot of it is it's very much take a guess, see if we can automate it. We always try to see if we can automate it, and then if we can't, we try and see if we can give quick tools for communities to audit it and moderate things themselves. So it's a delicate balance, and we're very much we're in it basically in a full engineering team. We love just to test and build things quickly and see how the community responds. A lot of times we'll just ship small components of something and see if we can just get community to start doing it more manually, and then we'll try to add automation on top of it. So we did a lot of stuff with chess, for example. We had a lot of big chess streamers, and chess.com is very big. And so, at first it was just, here's this format, this tournament format that people can run on Arena that works really well for chess. And then eventually got some traction. So we started adding more chess.com integrations where we could automatically create the matches for you on chess.com, or we'd pull on your ratings and your scores. And now we have quests that if you win a game, if you win a ranked game, you can earn quest rewards. So that's kind of how we take the approach, is we knew we liked quests. Let's maybe just start a framework that's more manual, and then we'll slowly add more integrations over time. And then with game studios, we'll have programmatic integrations. So they can create quests on our platform and then basically ping us and let us know when users complete it. So
how many people do you have? You mentioned about your full engineering team. How many people do you have now? Both engineers and core staff.
So it's just 3 of us actually. But we're all engineers. So there's 3 of us. There's 3 engineers, but we have like a pretty big like partner network. We do like a lot of like small work with like some other people as well. We have like some contracting work, but it's really just 3 full-time people.
How are you finding demand in sort of the startup space, I should say, as in I don't know if you guys have raised funds recently or whether you've gone out and done it. Are you finding what's your experience been in terms of like new people coming into the industry, fundraising? I'm not sure what stage you guys have been at.
Yeah, so we're currently like raising a bridge round right now. But we're also like such a small team that we're also like focusing a little bit more on revenue from these game studios and game publishers. I think, in a bull market, the expression is the only thing investors care about, the 3 things investors care about is growth, growth, and growth. And then in a bear market, when things turn, it's growth, retention, and burn. So they still care about growth, but they care more about user retention, and they care a lot about burn and how little money you can burn with the product that you're building. So yeah, the fundraising right now is brutal. It's very competitive. I think there's a crazy percentage. I want to say it's upwards of 80% of startups have less than 12 months runway. So that's just a lot of people who need to raise capital this year. And so as a VC, you get the pick of the litter, and you get them at very great discounts. These are environments that VCs actually make money. VCs are going to have a hard time making money in bull markets. The valuations are just so high. But in bear markets is when they're going to really start to make money. So there's a lot more due diligence. They take a lot longer. The conversations take a lot longer. When we raised a token only round in October of 2021, which is kind of the peak of the last market. And that was usually 1 meeting and a check versus it's now 6 or 7 meetings and maybe. And so it's like, it's very different. It's very competitive, but I still think an amazing time to start a company. And I think there's still a lot of funding at smaller size, like startup levels. I think there's a lot of opportunity, especially with like AI and some of the stuff. So,
oh yeah, there's always a certain word or area that you can launch in. Tell you what, back. I can't talk about or moan about it too much because our token was live when Facebook rebranded to Meta, and as we were in the Metaverse and gaming section, automatically it helped. But it was. And tell you what I also realized is that where you had, gaming with Axie Infinity was like the Meta.
Yeah.
And then you had Metaverse when they rebranded to Meta or the Meta. And now AI is the Meta. And what I've found is that VCs, because obviously I have a lot of advisory businesses and try and help a lot of people with fundraising. And with games in particular, all VCs, FOMO'd in based on these like buzzwords, and then inevitably where you have people raising and at the end of the meta, just because they realize they can raise money this way, when the VCs get burned, it's obviously the sector's fault. It's never their fault FOMOing in. So I'm pleased that there's a new meta, because it means that soon, rather than everyone saying, oh no, my games haven't worked for me, they'll be going, oh no, AI, that just hasn't worked for me. So they'll forget about the gaming FOMO and they'll come back because it's all seasonal, isn't it, with crypto, like DeFi summer, then gaming, Metaverse, now AI, eventually it all comes back around, doesn't it?
Yeah, it really does. It does feel a little cyclical, and always feels a little, the hindsight of it. Crypto just gets like such a, I mean, I get it because there has been like some of it is justified with like the NFT rug pulls and like a lot of stuff that I think was pretty negative for the space. But I think it's become very mainstream and popular to hate on crypto, and very popular mainstream to hate on crypto gaming, especially. But I don't know. I think I think that's why GDC was actually pretty awesome for me. I felt like when I was at GDC, and for those listening who don't know, the Game Developer Conference in San Francisco, it's a giant gaming conference. I think we were a little worried when we showed up because it's not a Web3 crypto conference. It is a gaming conference. And, those things have been kind of at odds with each other for a little bit. And so, when I first got there, we were going up the escalator and some guy was talking about his game, and this guy behind him was like, "Oh, is it on the blockchain?" And he's like, "I don't know what that is." And he's like, "Oh, all these like crazy people are here for crypto, just trying to shill their coins and make money and on their Ponzi schemes." And I was like, "Oh, this is like what the crowd we're walking into right now."
I mean, you got to think though, like this is one thing I absolutely I hate the word of crypto as a Ponzi. Like if people actually, I mean, my background, I was a stockbroker and then wealth management, then VC. I understand the monetary system, and trust me, it is a massive Ponzi. Like the US dollar, the like Great British pound, just fiat currency as a whole, like everything is a Ponzi. In fact, gaming is literally a Ponzi. Your active goal is to bring in more users to replace your users that get bored. Like it's all a Ponzi. I get what people mean, but it does frustrate me somewhat.
Yeah, I feel like it's like intellectually lazy. Honestly, I think it's like very small comparisons without like actually like looking into anything. It's like the same thing. It's like all crypto is just used for buying drugs and illegal activities. It's like, okay, what are we talking about now? Like this is just like such an old narrative that was never really even that true in the first place. And so it's hard because you want to have a better, more meaningful conversation about the space. And like if someone is a game studio and they don't know what blockchain technology is, like I would love to talk with that person about why I think it's important for them to do it, as opposed to them already have this huge guard up that's like, well, this is a fucking Ponzi scheme. Like I don't want to touch it. It kind of like goes against like the gaming artistry and kind of like this like purity of gaming. It feels like it gets like corrupted a little bit by crypto when things start becoming about economics as opposed to like the engagement and the art. And so I think that's like, but I don't think those things are mutually exclusive at all. And as a matter of fact, I think they actually intertwine very beautifully. And I think, one of my like kind of theses I have about the space is that I don't know if a lot of game studios are going to be able to even exist without a cryptocurrency in the future. I think it's going to become not only something that's important, but an essential for building community and interest in your product and in your game. Like I think, Midnight Society is an unbelievable example of what turning an NFT token drop into a game studio, and now is building just what I think is going to be a very prolific game franchise. And I think that's going to be just such a good blueprint and rubric for game studios in the future. So I do think that with how easily AI and technology is making it to create amazing games, I think the way that you're going to jumpstart these games is by building a community around NFTs and around tokens and using Web3 to really just start to leverage and incentivize a group of individuals. And so, so I think I'm tired of the Ponzi scheme rhetoric. I'm tired of the crypto's a scam rhetoric. And that's why I'm really excited for this bear market, because it does seem to be a lot of great builders left. And like I said, that interaction with GDC was the only negative one I really had. Most of the rest of GDC was a lot of people who are much more bullish on the space. A lot of the big studios I talked to had people there that are like, yeah, we're kind of on the edge of it still, because I think regulatory issues in the US are a big concern. But most people are very serious about having a very big part of their business or their studio or their feature set going forward have some crypto elements.
Yeah, I'm speaking about the community and like how bear markets tend to. I mean, one thing I've noticed, which is really frustrating me at the moment, with tokens in particular, and with the FUD that you get. What I'm finding is that whereas if you're like me, when I first came into crypto, I had no idea that tax tokens existed. I didn't know, and a lot of people don't. There's tokens, and some of them used to have like up to 15% tax, where like 5% goes to a marketing wallet, 5% goes to like game development, and like 5% just into the dev's back pocket. Now, I get FUD, and I've seen other protocols get FUD because they don't have tax. And if you don't have tax, it means that you're selling tokens to fund it. And it's just, really annoys me, because it's like some people just don't realize that you can actually have a token and earn revenue. Like, people think that it's just like everything is a meme coin and that you need a tax to support like the protocol, because the protocol isn't anything. But if you have an actual like if you have a protocol and not just a Ponzi, you don't need tax, because you've got a function of your token. It's there because it's like the blood of your ecosystem.
Exactly.
It serves a purpose, and that purpose is usually as a sort of revenue model, or feeding into the way that people interact and earn the revenue. So it frustrates me that people will actively say that like no tax token is bad now, and that's just like beyond understanding for me.
Yeah, I think it's kind of just like immaturity in the space. Like, it's like, to say anything very definitively about crypto or like the space, almost it feels like a little disingenuous. Like, the space changes so much. Like, and so like it's funny, like we'll get reports from like, crypto token experts and like all this stuff that like want to help us build like our tokenomics models and some of that stuff. It's like, how do you really count as like a token expert? The space is like so new, and like someone will do something so innovative like every year that like completely changes how we think about tokenomics and token models and airdrops. And I think there's always these like, and it seems like the windows get shorter and shorter of like, if you don't have tax, this is like they're just selling a token on the retail, they're dumping on retail, like this is just a rug pull. Like, it's like, that's not, you're not accounting for a million other things.
What people don't realize is that what that tax is that rather than let's say that their excuse is correct, and let's say that this that zero tax tokens do only exist by selling their own token. Okay, so they get it and they sell it at some point in the future, or XYZ. People who are buying, if they are buying 100% and it's got a 5% buy and sell tax, every time they buy, the dev is dumping 5% on them. They just don't realize it, because it's it's within their buy transaction. So it's 95% rather than 100%. So it's the exact same thing even, but like, it's just this immaturity in the space is really driving me insane at the moment. Maybe it's just like too much FUD, and I'm trying to explain to people just how like such simple concepts work. It's just really, really frustrating.
Yeah, and I think it's tough, because so much of the crypto narrative is still been built around speculation and value accrual and making money. And so there's like, FUD is just like I feel like a natural reaction to either missing the boat or being on a boat that you don't want to be on anymore, and you have to justify why you don't want to be on it because this one didn't rocket ship to the moon. And I think that's an unfortunate thing with crypto, is a lot of these things became valuable not because they thought they were going to become valuable, but because the underlying value and the utility of it ended up being valuable. So like, even like the early NFT stuff, like Bored Apes and CryptoPunks, like CryptoPunks especially, like it's just an art project where guy just sent out these free tokens to everybody. Like, the guys weren't expecting it to be worth $1 million the next year. Like, that just wasn't the reality of it. But like an amazing community, amazing communities were like built around these NFTs, and the technology enabled this boom. So like, I think the bear markets excite me, and I think a lot of what we're focusing on is like, let's not focus on everybody trying to make money all the time and everything going rocket ship bananas. Like, let's focus on like building communities and building experience and building value in like things that make us like, that we enjoy. We love playing games together. Let's make a platform that makes that really easy. And then maybe you guys can unlock value with crypto and Web3 as like payment rails for engagement, for activities. And that's just a byproduct of like having a great community, versus the community only exists because we all are speculating on its value.
Yeah, there's a big part of me that's wondering whether to sack off at least sack off personal social media and just literally like just do like a Substack or something instead.
Yeah, there's definitely the morning doom scroll of Twitter sometimes, where like I like open it up and I see like a couple like FUD posts. I'm like, it's usually like Elizabeth Warren saying something crazy. I'm like, all right, I'm done for the day. She hates crypto. It's funny because she called out when I was working at Shapeshift. There's like Eric Voorhees, for some reason, was just he was always like kind of randomly targeted. I think this was like a big early Bitcoin guy, and he was in like a couple of documentaries and stuff like that. So I think he just was like the most notable person to like kind of latch onto from like the SEC's perspective, and like he just was a very public figure pretty early on. And I remember there was like a Forbes article talking about like some like just nonsense like FUD at Shapeshift, and so like the next day we put like on our marketing site like has appeared on Ford for Shapeshift, and like and now like I think there's a new thing like as like discussed by the U.S. Senate or something. That's like a badge of like marketing material. So it's pretty funny because
the thing is it's that literally it's like an funnily enough I had this I shared this alpha with a few people, but basically do you remember when Vitalik like sold like tokens out of his wallet like fairly recently? He sold like just random stuff that had been airdropped, some stuff, but most of it was memes. And one of them, I looked at what he sold, and I saw one of them wasn't a meme coin, one of them was Colt, and then one was like something Inu, which he absolutely literally like minus 95% because he dumped like they sent him like 50% of it, and he just literally the whole liquidity was gone. And then he sold this other one, but it was only 100K market cap anyway. And I thought, tell you what, I bet you anything that if it's at that market cap, his attention to it will do more good. And it did. Nice little 5x on that one.
That's a smart move, honestly. That's pretty good. Yeah. Him dumping was as a marketing campaign for
it depends on if it was a just because of the size of the market cap, I thought like it's too small to like get FUD now. It was one of those that had been up and it just like it was like doing that, and I thought we're definitely actually going to help that. So yeah, that one actually went well. But yeah, to be fair, I should have got out of it earlier because I thought that maybe it would revive it, but no, it was just like 2 days later it was back down. But.
Yeah, wait, when you're looking to buy stuff, are you kind of playing the market? Are you playing the underlying fundamentals? Do you like to do a little bit of both? A little casino on the altcoins?
So my background was I was a derivatives trader before, so that my official job in London was derivatives trader. So amazing. I trade like. I say sensibly, like it's still is that still sensible? But I mean, I do educated trading on like Bitcoin, buy low, sell high, technical, that stuff. Yeah. But I degen like the shit out of Uniswap. That's Now tax tokens are like my degen all over that, but yeah, I do nothing really in the middle part. It has to either be a 10K market cap or a trillion. Nothing in between.
I like that. Yeah, there's the safe plays, the Bitcoin and Ethereum, and then there's I'm degening everywhere.
Exactly, and I think that there's a good segregation. In fact, have you heard of the rug game?
I have not.
Take a look. It's actually like a travesty that it hasn't got more attention. I'll see if I can share it because it's such a good idea.
It's just like so interesting the what catches ideas and I feel like there's like some magic to capturing the crypto Twitter mind share. This is cool.
So essentially, and it might start playing music actually if I click on rules. Because it does. Let me copy and paste that and go on. And then go on to a new one because it does. Every time you, for some reason, it changed. It used to be that Chrome would play music, but now it's if you go onto it, it doesn't ever play anything on the first page. Okay, good. I didn't jinx myself there. You can see it, right?
Yeah.
So basically, how it works is that it's literally like it's 4 degens. So there's 10 tokens that you can see here.
Mm-hmm.
They all have 4% tax. One of it's by Cult DAO. I'm not sure if you've heard of Cult DAO, but they're quite noisy on Twitter, so you might have done.
Yeah.
They so 1% buys and burns Cult, 1% buys and burns TRG, which is like the core governance token, and then 1% burns the game token, and 1% is given to the contract in Ethereum. So the scoreboard that you saw previously, let me see if I can get that up without causing the music again, and share this tab. So it, based on the burns, it scores up here. So the highest scoring letter earns all of the Ethereum.
Oh, that's cool.
And the lowest scoring letter gets rugged, and the Ethereum from the LP of the lowest scoring token is used and automatically buys back TRG and sends it to stakers. And I just think it's a crime that this hasn't got more attention. Like, this is so innovative.
Yeah.
Like, first time, but like so R already got rugged. But yeah, it's like this stuff falls through the cracks. But yeah, like,
I know.
How clever is that?
It's frustrating that there is so many great things that just aren't able to get enough momentum for whatever reason, because this is really, really cool, and I think a lot of people would really enjoy it if they just knew it existed.
Yeah. I'll send you the link.
Definitely. This reminds me, there was an early thing. This was like early 2018, kind of like post the ICO boom in 2017. There was an app called exitscam.me, and it was basically you would buy, there's basically just a timer always counting down, and if you were the last person to enter into this pool, you got the jackpot. But if you weren't, then it would like the next person who like basically put money in, you'd buy these like keys, and if you bought a key, the timer would go up 30 seconds. But when you bought keys, you could be like, I want a dividend of all future earnings, or I want the total jackpot if I buy these keys. So it's like this kind of like fun game theory around like trying to buy these things in these exit pools. But this is really cool. This is like a much more fun, engaged version of that.
This is, yeah, I'll send you, there was a Medium article on it which explained it. But yeah, I just thought, this, it did get like picked up on a couple of places. I saw like Woo Blockchain posted about it. But yeah, I think it's a travesty it hasn't been picked up by mainstream.
And I think
Coindesk and Cointelegraph, because it's like, it's more than anything. It's not for like it's more for the innovation of like crypto gaming.
Yeah,
that's what I think is so good about this.
Yeah, I totally agree, and I think it's really fun to see things like this that are very innovative. They're like very interesting. I think the aesthetics are really cool. We did a mint drop that had like this type of screen on it and this is how you like earn mint passes. Was like we're in this like hacker terminal, and you could like you basically like would write messages in the terminal that looked like this, and then you could like do puzzles and play mini games, and that's how you like earn mint passes to mint our NFT.
It's very like it reminds me of like Fallout terminals.
Yeah, Fallout terminals. Yeah, Fallout. Yeah, exactly.
The music as well. It's got Squid Game. Remember?
Oh God, yeah. You don't forget Squid Game.
Yeah, it's the whistling.
Oh man, that's a visceral song.
Yeah, but I'll send you the link because it's definitely.
But I think that brings up I think that just is like encapsulates a lot of what I think is going to be happening over the next year, especially with like Web3 games in general. Like when I was at these conferences, the games that are coming out are fucking awesome, and they're going to be really, really cool. And they have all these really cool tokenomics and these really like interesting ways that users will like craft and build NFTs and build like ownership in the game. And like some of them have like cool like multi-tiered playing to it. Like some like you collect like a card game and there's a card game on your phone, but then when you go to play on your desktop, it's like you use those cards as like almost like a tower defense style like top-down MOBA game. And so like all this stuff's gonna be really cool. But I think a lot of what we really want to focus on Arena is like helping those games have the right tools so that they don't fall through the cracks. Like there's too many, I think, this example, the rug game is just unfortunately one of many things that have happened in crypto over the last couple of years. Is like there's a lot of guys who are in teams that are building amazing, fun, innovative things that people would love, but they just aren't able to find the communities. They aren't able to find the people to play it. And that's really what we want to focus on. We really feel like there's too many great things that are going unnoticed, and there's too much shit that is getting noticed and that stuff that shouldn't be. And so we're really trying to focus more on like the quality of games, the quality of products, and the quality of your community, and like really trying to bring those quality games, those quality communities together, so that the rug game has more than enough attention and more than enough users.
Fair enough. I'll reach out. I'll make a group or introduce you to someone, one of the admins and mods. There isn't really a team because it's a DAO, but there's a few mods on that. But
I love it.
We're coming up to the hour, but it's been really interesting. Do you want to quickly plug your website, plug your socials, where people can find out more and jump in?
Yeah, of course. So the website is arena.gl. We might be doing a rebrand because we've always disliked the .gl extension, but it's arena.gl, not arena.gg. We're a community gaming engagement and data analytics platform for gamers and game content creators and game studios. So if you are launching a game, some people launching a game, or content creators or streamers that want better ways to engage, either through questing or bounties, or just to get more meaningful metrics on their community members. If just Discord roles isn't quite enough transparency and enough nuance to really understand what your community is doing, I think Arena's a great platform and is going to be very fun, and something that we're still in the very early stages. And so a lot of the partners we're talking with right now are helping build what we're doing. And we love getting the community involved on our platform, but also like our own for building the product. We want the long-term vision for Arena is to decentralize into a DAO, and that will happen with our NFT holders and the token that runs on our platform. And so if that's something you're interested in, you can find us on Twitter at ArenaGL is our Twitter handle. I'm Charlie Blackstock on Twitter, or I think C Blackstock, and then ArenaGL is the .gl is our website. So
nice one. Thanks so much for joining, and thanks everyone in the audience. Make sure to jump into those socials on the website, and thanks so much, and we'll see you next Wednesday, and I'll chat to you on Telegram or Discord, wherever we got a group anyway, Charlie.
Awesome. Thanks, Dom. Thanks for your time. I really appreciate it.
Nice one.
All right. See ya.